I'm here in Hawthorne, Nevada today. The town site was selected in 1880 by H.M. Yarrington, the president of the Carson and Colorado Railroad Company, as a division and distribution site for the new railroad. Today, the population is around 3,118, and the nearby Hawthorne Army Depot is the primary economic base of the town. We are going to check out one of Hawthorne's great gathering spots that is frozen in time, but luckily it is being brought back to life.
I just have to take it out of my house because it's a little more temperature control here before I get like real storage. But
today we're going to do a little bit of a different video. We're going to take a tour of the historic Cactus Theater in Hawthorne, Nevada. This is Kansas. She's restoring the theater, and she's going to show us around.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit about your project here.
Okay, well, my name is Kansas. I got this theater 3 years ago now. It was built in 1946, so right after the war. Hawthorne had a very big role in World War II, considering this is a military town. Its population actually grew to 15,000 people during World War II. So there are actually quite a few movie theaters in town. There's not just this one, but there's a theater directly across the street. That was called the Desert, and this was called the Cactus, and they were owned by the same people. The Desert Theater shuttered in 1970 though, so that's been abandoned for a very long time. It's not in great condition. That one's built out of wood. This is a Quonset hut, much better preserved. Since the theater is so rural, it would rarely get first-run movies because the cities would take priority for those. So the type of movies that this theater played were more of the exploitation films. So you can go to the Mineral County newspaper archives, which I think they're at the library here now, and every week it printed the calendar. And this theater was constantly playing Russ Meyer movies and Jack Hill movies, all sorts of things like that. It was I'm talking in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And legend has it, this is the first theater in the state of Nevada to play Deep Throat, and everyone supposedly would travel to Hawthorne to see Deep Throat. So it has some very cool porn history. I had someone come up to me once that lived here and say to me that the Cactus Theater is the only theater I know that would play porn on a Sunday.
So this is a work in progress, trying to restore this.
Yes.
And you're going to try and keep a lot of it authentic.
Yes.
Which is what we like.
If you look close at the screen, you can see spitballs stuck to it, which is really cute. Yes, it's going to be completely preserved.
Rehabbed and open to the public.
Yes, as in
and showing films. And you're raising funds to do this? How are you doing that?
All of the major projects I've gotten done have been through grants I've gotten. I have a website for the theater which has a donation portal. If you would like to help fund any of the smaller renovations that I've just been funding personally, potential donations could help fund the electricity. So we have a new box put on the exterior, and it's only hooked up to the HVAC though. So the rest of the building needs to be rewired. And I got another grant to upgrade the transformer outside. There are 190 seats. The first half are the Art Deco seats. Second half back there are later, like 60s. I do love this burlap so much, but you can see it's messed up in a lot of places, and they had to cut through it to get the new HVAC system in. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, so it's going to look the same, but you know, it's all pilled and water stained. But the new burlap's going to be red, white, and blue because Hawthorne is America's patriotic home. It is the town motto and theme. And what other towns have themes? Isn't that amazing? This is going to be very much in theme, and that's why I'm renaming it the Old Glory Theater. It's had a couple names throughout the years, so it was the Cactus, and then in the 90s it turned into the Cinadome. I'm going to turn it to the Old Glory to keep in theme with Hawthorne, patriotism, And also, it allows me to use a C.W. McCall song as the theme song for the theater, because he also has a song called Old Glory, so it works out perfectly. It's going to play every showing.
When did it close? When did it show its last film?
2012, but from what I've been told is that it wasn't, like, in the very last few years, it was just kind of like a rec center. Like, they had they're still up there. There's like these wires that were hanging down from the projection booth, and they would have kids come and set up their Xbox to it, and they would like play Xbox on the screen, and then they had like board games in the lobby.
Let's take a look around. Yeah. Of course, I mainly like to focus on vintage equipment. I see we got some vintage speakers here.
So these are all behind the screen. I think we're going to go back behind the screen. We decided to move them out to put the
wow. Altec Lansing 1200s, 1205.
It's a bit dirty.
JBL, look at that nice horn.
It's not there anymore, but it used to have a little speaker on the marquee outside, and it would play music as people walked in. So I'm gonna have that back soon too. That just hooked up to a record player up in the projection room.
This is the new HVAC system that's going in.
Look at how fancy they are.
A grant helped out with these? Yeah. You got a grant? How cool.
Yes. So this is the historic 6th Street School, which is an Art Deco elementary school, which has also been abandoned for a long time, but they're going to reopen it as a preschool soon. But this area is kind of an unofficial historic district. There's the YMCA building right there, which is also Art Deco. It's really old, and then you can't really see, but behind all those trees right there is the Mineral County Courthouse, which used to be the Esmeralda County Courthouse, which is also abandoned right now.
This is the Desert Theater right here.
Yeah, so that's the desert.
Wow, look at the roof, man. That is so sad.
I want it. I want it very bad.
You should get it. It's restorable.
I think so too.
This is what we need, a renaissance of vintage movie theaters, historic theaters. So the building is a Quonset hut, which is like a half culvert pipe. And these are great because they last virtually forever and they never leak. And the only thing is, when you're inside of them, they're this shape. So what they've done is they've squared it off. And it wasn't originally like this, right? These walls weren't here.
Yeah, so before these walls went up, the theater walls were rounded like this. And so there's murals painted on each side that used to be visible to the audience.
Right, this is what the audience would have seen here.
Yeah. The mural went up in 1962, and they were done by the high school art teacher who was Hawaiian. These were just being used as storage, but when I reopen it, I'm gonna have these rooms. Well, at least this side. Maybe I'll keep the other side as storage still, but I'm gonna have this side as an exhibit for my C.W. McCall memorabilia collection. So people can look at my beautiful collection. And then, I don't know, maybe the other side will have like a revolving exhibit, something like that. But very beautiful mural.
It's cool that this is still here.
Yeah, they never covered it. If you go back out into the theater though, from this side, there's one part where you can see it still up there.
Okay.
There you go. And then it's the same on this side too. You can see.
They left one little palm tree there.
Yeah, a little peek at the mural. But yeah, those are definitely staying, for sure. And here's some of my film collection. There's some over here, some over there. I just had to take them out of my house because it's a little more temperature controlled here before I get like a real storage. But got some David Heavener movies. And I got The Crazies over there, George Romero. I have not played any of my prints though, ever, so I don't even know the condition that they're in. I basically have rescued almost all of these from people that were just gonna throw them away, so. So here's the lobby with the concession stand. It's a mess in here. When I got the theater, Obviously the ceiling is still neon green, but that wall was neon orange, that wall was baby blue, this wall was neon pink. It's just really gross colors. So this is just a layer of primer right now for what I'm gonna, just so that it's not visually offensive for the time being, but I'm going to repaint everything red, white, and blue.
Okay.
To go with the theme, and have on display memorabilia from certain military movies and stuff like that.
This is sort of a military-themed patriot town.
Yeah, and outside I'm gonna have the theater used to have these like wooden poster stands outside that aren't there anymore that went all along the theater, and I'm having them rebuilt, but instead of displaying posters, I'm gonna have like permanent installations, and I'm gonna do portraits of different actors and filmmakers who are veterans. So I'm gonna have like a Sam Peckinpah portrait, Chris Christopherson, Lee Marvin, all the greats.
Very cool. Let's look at the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Everybody should know that, right?
Let's all go to the lobby.
Have a treat.
Oh yeah, here's some posters I might potentially display. You know, got my just some good war or veteran movies. And then I have a whole collection of pictures here of these are all Hawthorne people. They're war snapshots. So I don't know. You might recognize someone if you're from here. And then I'm just gonna sneak in my own family photo, because that's my grandpa. That's my great-great-grandpa. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge. So
you have a history with this a little bit. Look at let's check out the cash register.
oh yeah, there was just an old soda machine here that I just removed recently, so that's there's a bunch of mouse poop under it. I haven't cleaned it up yet, but that's why there's a bunch of mouse poop right there. The soda machine, we looked at there's like a serial number on it. It said 1987, and when we took it out, like all this soda started pouring out of it. That's so gross. Yellow concession sign.
Beerages.
The popcorn machine.
Popcorn machine. It's a very messy in here, but just got this is the girls and the boys' bathroom. Here's the girls. Brand new toilet and sink. Look at that. We got water. All brand new plumbing. It's incredible. When I first got it, I got the water turned on, and like after a couple of days, the pipes just exploded.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty bad, but you know, now they're all brand new. It's wonderful. Oh, you want to see the ticket booth really quick?
Oh boy.
This is a mess too, but you know, it's a lot of the original stuff. That box has all the video store receipts in it, and yeah, ticket taker booth.
Well, let's check out the projection room.
Yeah. All that's gonna be replaced soon. Some boxes. So this wood paneling is what the lobby used to look like until it was painted clown colors. It would have been very nice if it was left this way, but it's okay. It's gonna be red, white, and blue now. It's gonna be very pretty. Here is the Marquee letter closet.
Wow.
Like 90% of them are broken, so I have to get new ones. So anyone watching, your donations could potentially buy some new Marquee letters. They're very brittle and old.
Yeah, they get hard with age.
Yeah, plastic is not a great material. Not a fan. Here is the cry room. So I don't know if you can tell in the video, but there's a window right here that you can see straight into the theater. And so cry rooms were, if you had a crying baby, you could come up here and watch the movie in a soundproof box. And little drive-in movie speakers, probably like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how they got sound up here.
So your crying baby gets you a VIP ticket.
Exactly.
Look at this.
Except I was told that I cannot open this up to the public ever again because it's a fire hazard. But it's my private viewing room for me and my friends.
There you go.
So that's pretty cool.
I've learned something new. I have never heard of a cry room before.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
This is...
And then here's our brand new mini split.
Wow.
So okay, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. So this was really funny. I had an electrician over recently, and because I have to have all the interior electricity redone, and he like pulled this and showed me. He's like, this is like a wire from a lamp that they like cut and spliced.
That is speaker cable.
Oh, okay.
That is for audio. That is
Yeah.
speaker wire.
It's going into, I don't know. He's saying it's all really dangerous and a big mess, so that's why everything has to be redone.
Okay, here we go. Here's what everybody wants to see.
There's the bulb in there. Let's go around here.
Oh, it's an HID lamp. Here you go. Yeah, there you go. I believe that, yeah, that's some type of HID lamp. Carbon arc was the old stuff. Ooh, look at the asbestos wire. How cool. That white wire,
Yeah.
that's asbestos. That's asbestos, that sheeting on the back. Good stuff. More asbestos wire. High current. Look at how hot that thing must get. Look at the
Yeah, that's why there's the exhaust.
blower, yeah, and it exhausts out the ceiling here.
And you can actually see there's room for another exhaust pipe right there. So there used to actually be a changeover system in here. So at some point they switched over to the fire.
I think this is probably where the audio was because we see the 1/4-inch connectors here. Exciter lamp supply. But it looks like someone removed the amps, and that's probably why we have those speaker wires there. Now there should be a separate thing that reads the audio track. Maybe we can show that. The audio was light, sound through light. Let me see. So this is a thing that says RCA. This might be the thing that reads the audio.
Yeah, probably. There's that bucket to catch the oil at the bottom too. It's so nasty.
And then this is the actual
Image.
the image where the image is projected out the little
There's
door there.
They had those speakers.
Honestly, looks like a lens. I don't know what it does though. There's some crazy looking mirror thing in there. It's really cool though. It just lives here on the ground. Sorry.
Oh, there.
about that.
Okay.
There's
there's your amp right there. So we had a
Oh, yeah.
Crown
I think there's
DC300A.
one on the other side too, actually.
Probably backups.
Yeah, so the audio is in there. Look at the little Eastman sign. But yeah, the black
Eastman
ones.
codec. A xenon power supply. This is the power supply for the bulb in there.
Oh, and here's another splicing system.
Hold on one second. KVA 5.75, 27 amps at 208 volts. Wow, that's a lot of power.
The reel that's in the projector right now is like the third reel of some random kung fu movie that they would use to test it. When the theater reopens, I'm going to do 35mm projection only. Potentially maybe 16mm too if I get a good 16 projector. But this projector here as you can tell, is just a single projector with a platter system. And so with the platter system, like film reels, they come, it's like 18 to 20 minutes on one reel. And so one movie is usually like 5 or 6 reels. And when you have a platter system, you take all of the reels, splice them together into one giant reel, and then feed it into your one projector. It's like really crazy. It like literally takes this, and you have to thread it all the way over here to the projector, and it runs the entire movie. This, I don't even think this is an entire movie right here. This is probably, it looks like half a movie, honestly. This is, I know this is Richie Rich though. Problem is, when you have a platter system like that, a lot of archives won't ever lend out to you because they don't want you cutting and splicing their prints. So they only lend out to theaters with a changeover system. And a changeover system is when you have 2 identical projectors next to each other, and you have one reel and one projector, and then when you see the little dot pop up on the reel, change over, switch to the other projector, and you do that back and forth until the movie's over. So I have to upgrade to a changeover system, which most likely means I won't be using this exact 35 projector, but I'm going to be using 2 matching 35 projectors, which will probably be newer 35 projectors, not brand new since they don't make them anymore, but yeah, so unfortunately I won't be using this. Here's my favorite part of the projection room.
Let me.
Is this. It's so the projectionist wouldn't have to go downstairs. They could just go.
Well, the projectionist was a very highly. Ooh.
Oh.
The projectionist would have been a very, very highly respected position in this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it does take a lot of skill to operate these. Here's like a
Splicing station.
splicing station, and there's another splicing station over there. I got some boxes of 3D glasses over here too, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that was a moment in time, wasn't it?
I got like 1,000 of these.
Oh, the red and blue glasses.
Yeah, so, but holding on to these for sure in case I get a 3D.
Ever get a 3D glass? I remember when they tried to broadcast that on TV, and you'd get the glasses from the grocery store, and it never worked. At least for me, it never worked. But this is super cool. This is something that hardly exists anymore.
Yeah. So it's still gonna be an analog theater though. Oh yeah, we have this kind of dates it, I guess, when they were last showing movies. Yeah, because there's a trailer for Zero Dark 30. So whenever that came out, maybe 2012.
These are trailers, huh?
Yeah, these are all trailers. Another Zero Dark 30. Men in Black 3. Here Comes the Boom. Oh my god. When I first, this is a Kevin James movie. There was a big cardboard cutout of him when I first saw the theater for this movie. Oh, here's a cool money bag. So here's another splicing system. There's the film tape, but you can tell like they're just cutting up prints and stuff to make it work. So you have to kind of mutilate the prints to string them together for the platter. So not very good if you want to watch your print more than a few times. It messes it up. Lots of skipping.
We got a bunch of little speakers in here.
Yeah, a bunch of drive-in speakers. This is to have a light bulb to look at what you're doing.
Yeah, how cool.
Oh, that was not going back up. There we go.
These are records that they played at the speaker out at the Marquee while the theater was open, or all the time?
I think just as people were arriving.
Okay.
I love that song.
So this
Very
is
good mining song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of 60s.
so your goal here is to restore this thing and open it to the public and actually play analog films. This is going to be an analog theater. and this is all your own doing. You're fundraising for this, you're taking grants, and of course, because it's a public venue, you have to bring certain things up to code, like electrical and probably ADA compliance and all of this other stuff. And so talk a little bit about the fundraising side of this and how people can get involved in your website.
There's two very big projects remaining. One is the interior electrical. Exterior's fine. There's a brand new box outside. The old box was the same one since the 1946. The other big project is the projectors. So I have a projectionist or projector tech who has a potentially set his sight on a couple of matching very nice projectors for a changeover system that have very low hours on them, which is very very appealing. Waiting for a price on that. We'll see how much it's going to be. But yeah, besides the grants, the grants are very, very hard to get. They take a lot of time. And then if you do ever get accepted for the grants, it takes a lot of time to get the money too. So that's why, I've had this for 3 years, but it's, some people in town are even a little mad that it's not open yet. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying so hard. Oh my god, just for $1 a day. You can help this poor little girl. It's less than a cup of coffee. I mean, come on.
Help her open her movie theater.
Yeah.
Grant writer, people don't understand that. Maybe most people don't know that grant writer is its own sort of designated profession.
Yeah, and
it's not something.
I mean, I do have a nonprofit that I made, and I have people that are part of the nonprofit that assist me with things. And so I made a website. It's called oldgloryhawthorne.com, and there is a donation portal on there. And since this is a designated nonprofit, you get your donations tax deductible, and you'll get a receipt upon donation.
And there's some rich person out there that wants to help make this happen, because this is one of the coolest things I've seen.
Oh, but what I wanted to say earlier too is that I made a list of all of the historic theaters in the entire state of Nevada that are still in operation as movie theaters. So, there's a couple that like the buildings are still standing, but they're like stores or different things now. In the entire state, there are only 3 that are historic movie theaters that are still in operation. And out of all the ones that are still standing, so that includes abandoned ones, that includes this one across the street, I think, I'd have to look at my list, but I believe it's 18. That's so crazy for an entire state. But a lot of these rural small towns don't even have any left, so it's pretty crazy that Hawthorne has 2 that are still standing. So maybe if someone gives me so much money, I can get the theater across the street too. So,
That's an ambitious project. At least this one has good bones, and it'll be here for a long time.
It has just been recently restored. It used to have like a combination of Cactus and Cinadome up there. Like one was faded and the other was poking through. But this was paid for with the grant from the CCCHP, and so it had to be restored to historic standards. So it's in the same font as the Cactus Theater, and like the O from the old is the C from the Cactus, and the G from the Glory is the T from the Cactus, so it actually worked out. And then the Old Glory was painted by a sign painter Bob in Gold Shield. And it lights up when you connect it to electricity. That was all just fixed recently.
Oh, how cool. It's got the lights all the way around it.
Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.